Tapped Out to Pro Wrestling, a new revolutionary force in wrestling YouTube videos.
I don't know. Just figured why not. I look a little messy too. I look a little disheveled, so don't mind me. But I want to tell y'all a little story. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Tapped Out to Pro Wrestling YouTube channel video. I wanted to tell you guys a little story. So as you guys know, in one of my past storytime videos, I discussed and let y'all know that I was formerly a professional wrestler. And during the early days of my wrestling career, I want to say like, if I had to put a time limit on it, maybe 2017 was when things got a little chaotic. I was doing some pretty crazy stuff around that time. Things such as traveling all the way out to North Carolina. And the reason I was going all the way out there is because there was a channel at the time that was rather popular and had a lot of really popular Okay, I think we just gotta switch to the tripod. Anyway, as I was trying to explain before I got rudely interrupted there, yeah, I used to wrestle for this promotion called VTW. When I would wrestle for them, I would travel all the way to North Carolina, and it was a fun time. Even one year, I spent my graduation party money for a plane trip to go down to VTW to wrestle one time. So, you know, it was a fun time. I met a lot of people. I met a lot of really cool people, interesting people, had a lot of fun times, made a lot of fun memories, including the one I'm going to be telling here today. So I want to tell you guys about a little show called Best in the Yard 3.
Gentlemen, Victor Van Pelt making his Best in the Yard debut against Kevin Shaw.
Now, funny enough, although it was called Best in the Yard, it was not in a yard whatsoever. It was actually in a church. So the name was a bit of a pun in a way. But the Best in the Yard show up to that point was a really big deal. They did it, I believe it was yearly. I could be wrong. I think it was annually. They had one, they had two. I was a part of the third and the fourth. The third one is the one that I'm talking about here today. When I was a part of the third one, I wrestled a guy named Kevin Shaw. And honestly, I had such a fun match with this guy. We had a match where I was basically wrestling this guy for his mother. Our whole storyline was, you know, I had a bunch of nicknames, and one of the nicknames that I had was your mother's favorite wrestler. Because one time I heard David Starr call himself your favorite wrestler's favorite wrestler, and then I was like, oh, well, mother's favorite wrestler, let's go with that. So when I started using that, Kevin Shaw caught wind of that, and he was like, hey, what if we did a thing where we had a feud because you had a thing for my mom? And I was like, dude, abso-freaking-lutely. So we built it all the way up to Best in the Yard 3. We had the match where somebody actually dressed up as his mom. It was this gigantic dude named Big Time Mike. And honestly, he is one hard-hitting dude, but one of the best guys in the world, super kind. At least when I met him, you know, I thought he was super nice. The way I looked at everybody there, I was just some random outsider from Pennsylvania who nobody knew, and everybody there welcomed me with open arms. So I appreciated that a lot. Trust me. I miss it sometimes, you know? But anyway, for Best in the Yard 3, we had this match. And then the time came where this match was going to go live. And when this match went live, there were a lot of comments that piqued my interest. A lot of comments just, you know, pointing out how funny the concept of our match was and how funny the idea of two people wrestling for someone's mom is. But then there were other comments that kind of caught my eye that said things like, this is better than Grimm's Toy Show. This is better than what Grimm's Toy Show puts on today. This is better than GTS Wrestling. And I was like, wow, I mean, I thought it was funny, but you know, to think that we were doing something better than what at that time was considered the best, I really didn't think that, you know? So I was beyond flattered when I saw people saying that. Again, just some random kid, you know, just deciding to go to North Carolina and then catching wind by doing that out of the blue. It was fun, so much fun. And seeing those comments, it was so awesome. At the time, Grimm's Toy Show, some people say it wasn't necessarily what it used to be, you know? Some people saw Grimm's Toy Show at that time as more of like a kiddie show. He was doing things like Slender Man and stuff like that. So it wasn't what it is now. I think Grimm's Toy Show now is a lot more, I don't want to say less kiddie, because they definitely do have some childlike elements still of Grimm's Toy Show, but they're a lot more polished, let's say. But at the time, they were still just kind of, I don't want to say starting out, because they didn't start out. They were kind of just feeling things out. They were in a weird time period. So to have a match like that, you know, in a way, I don't want to say it made sense for people to comment that, but it kind of did. Guys, I'm not here trying to trash Grimm's Toy Show whatsoever. I love Grimm's Toy Show, honestly. But the whole reason that I'm even telling this story in the first place is because after these comments were made, I was constantly talking about Grimm's Toy Show. Me and all my friends were constantly talking about it because we watched it, we kept up with it. And to see those comments meant a lot to us. And funny enough, also around that time, a lot of people who I would see on a weekly basis, people who I would consider my friends, my colleagues, were slowly getting picked up by Grimm's Toy Show. Jordan Oliver was the first, obviously. I'm not trying to, you know, go around throwing names, but I'm just, you know, he was the first to get picked up by Grimm's Toy Show. And then his group of people, which is like the usuals, Griffin McCoy, who just recently was on the Hammerstein Ballroom show, which is crazy. Ellis Taylor, but I think he goes by Pat Dynamite now, I want to say. Charlie Tiger, he was another one. They all got picked up by Grimm's Toy Show. And then another real close friend of mine, Yankee, randomly got picked up. Well, I shouldn't say randomly, but later on got picked up. And then it was like, oh my gosh, all of my friends are going to Grimm's Toy Show. This is insane. I even made a t-shirt that I was gonna start wearing based off of it, where it was like, all of my friends are going to Grimm's Toy Show, blah, blah, blah. Because I just wanted to poke the bear some more, because I knew people were making those comments, so maybe I can get people to really, like, you know, have Grimm's Toy Show get eyes on me. But you know, it didn't really work out that way, because obviously I was never there, it never happened. But it was very, very close at one point. So not too long after Best in the Yard 3, we did another show that was just a random show. It had nothing to do with Best in the Yard. It might have been a reunion rumble, I want to say. I don't know. But anyway, after one of the shows that we were recording, we all went out to go hang out at the mall. Us, like, being myself and a bunch of the wrestlers and the guys. One of the guys who were pretty prominent on the East Coast wrestling scene, he brought us into this mall, and a lot of people knew who he was. Cameron Jackson. He is a wide-known name in the, well, was a wide-known name in the backyard wrestling world. Now he's making a name for himself on the professional wrestling world. And he's been doing a great job, you know, of course. He's always been very talented. You know, everybody knew that he was going to be something. So to see everything that he does now is fantastic. But at this time, not to say that he was still small, but he wasn't as big as he is now, at this time that I'm discussing now. So we were all hanging out at this mall, and he brought us into this like sports store. And, you know, we were just walking around for a little bit, checking it out, you know. There was some pretty cool stuff, like just football stuff, baseball stuff. I'm not a big sports guy, so I wasn't really looking at anything, but everybody else was. And then all of a sudden, Cameron brought us into this one section of the sports store, which was just this random aisle. And he started telling us this story. He was saying how he got a message from somebody who was involved with Grimm's Toy Show, who Now keep in mind, as I'm telling the story, this is just from my recollection and everything that happened. I'm not saying any of this actually happened. I'm not saying somebody actually messaged Cameron. I'm just saying this is what Cameron said to me. He said something along the lines of like, you know, he was messaged by somebody who was a part of Grimm's Toy Show, and they were thinking about doing some sort of Grimm's Toy Show backyard collaboration. Because at the time, backyard wrestling really was making like this big boom again, you know, because everybody remembers the early days of like Matt Demarest and the trampoline days. If you really do look into backyard wrestling, and even ESW, you know, people knew that that stuff was big. But in a way, what VTW was doing was along the same lines of that. You know, they were building this reputation as the big backyard fed. So I guess, you know, it kind of makes sense that Grimm's Toy Show somewhere along the line would catch wind of that and see that these guys were doing something special, because they were. Everybody who was a part of this was fully trained some way, somehow in professional wrestling. So everybody knew what they were doing. We all could have possibly been a part of Grimm's Toy Show. Even to this day, if Grimm were to call me up now, which I know obviously would never happen, but if he were to call me up now and be like, hey man, you want to be a part of it, I could go down right now and I could go wrestle for Grimm's Toy Show right now. I'm not saying like that's how good I am, but I'm just saying that's somewhat of the skill set I have. I'm not saying I'm up to their level. I'm just saying I'm relatively close. Maybe they could show me a lot more to help me even get on their level. Because obviously they are beyond professional, but you know, I kind of got off track there. Cameron brought us into this sports store and he was saying that, you know, someone from Grimm's Toy Show was talking to him about possibly doing this backyard crossover. The idea was that a couple guys from VTW and NUW, which was another promotion that I was a part of, were going to do this like crossover takeover deal where we were all going to invade Grimm's Toy Show, you know, beat up some guys on Grimm's Toy Show, and it was going to lead to this gigantic mega event. And I remember standing there hearing this, getting so excited, like, holy crap, we're going to do this. We're going to do this big Grimm's Toy Show invasion. And honestly, it would have been insane with a lot of the guys that we had. Just some of the, you know, matchups in my mind that I was making, just listening to that conversation right there just would have been insane with a lot of the guys from BTW and a lot of the guys from Grimm's Toy Show, and even just a lot of the guys from NUW and Grimm's Toy Show. There would have been a lot of insane matchups within that. But obviously, you know, we had that conversation in the sports store, and then a couple months after that, Cameron moved down to North Carolina, and the talk of that just kind of stopped. Nothing ever came of it. And then funny enough, later on down the line, I would see some more of my friends on Grimm's Toy Show, and I still never got the opportunity. And I'm not sitting here trying to be like, oh, woe is me, I never got to do it. You know, it would have been fantastic, but I didn't get to do it, so be it. Obviously, I'm not wrestling as much as I am now, if at all. But you know, that's not to say that I am completely done. I'm just saying. But yeah, you know, if you guys enjoyed this little storytelling of, that kind of got sad at the end, of me, you know, giving this little Grimm's Toy Show story about how I was almost on Grimm's Toy Show. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. And maybe I will see you guys in the next video, whether it be another story time video, whether it be a figure review, whether it be another pick fed episode. I have been enjoying making these videos. I hope you guys have been enjoying me making them for you. And I will see you guys in the next one. Of course, y'all know what to do. Hit that subscribe button and tap that bell notification so you never miss an upload here on this channel. Oh, that was disgusting. I'm sorry. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye. Now that I wrapped that up, oh Jesus, oh. Making a whole mess over here, just trying to bring the chair over. Holy, don't hit the table. I don't want this crowd to get knocked over. I will lose my mind again if it happens. Get out of my freaking way, man. Wait a second. What? Wait, hold on. What's wrong here? Something's missing and I don't... Wait a second. Where's my LJN Macho Man? What? Oh my God, you've got to be kidding me. What happened to my Macho Man? How could it have just gotten up and walked away? Where is my LJN Macho Man? It was just sitting right in the crowd. My Wolverine even got knocked over. Oh my, let me try to pick this up. Please don't knock anything over. Please don't. Oh, the barricades are falling. Son of a bee. Come on, Wolverine, stand up. What in the world is going on? What happened to my LJN Macho Man? I'm freaking out. I guess I gotta start looking. I don't know. God, man. You've gotta be kidding me.
I might just come see you today. You wait, I'm stuck up in my ways. But love it when I'm playing games. That's the only